Hello everyone and welcome to the final ever race of the Thursday Night GT Championship. Bringing you 2-hour endurance around the classic Hockenheim ring, a track never ever seen before in TNGTC, and what a race we can promise to give you. 5 drivers all within a shout to win the driver's title, 2 teams separated by 12 points for the team's title. And with a track like this, it could be anything astonishing. After 8 seasons of racing, we could not ask for a better finale from the Thursday Night GT Championship. And like I said last week, it's not just me. Again, I am joined by Jordan. So, Jordan, do you feel privileged to be part of this last race, and are you looking forward to it?
Definitely privileged to be on the last race here at Hockenheim. I mean, I've only been in this group for this season, so it's definitely a privilege on that behalf. I mean, cracking racing from the boys, and tonight is going to be a cracker. Hockenheim Classic, really fast and really technical all at the same time. You've got to be really careful of the bumps. It should be a good race to end on. So obviously a different point system as well for tonight.
Yeah, we are running an improvised point system for endurance races. It used to always just be double in the feature race, but for tonight, the winner will receive 30 points, second place 27, then 24, 21, 18, 14, 11, 7, 4, and then 2 for 10th place. And the fastest lap and pole position points are doubled to 2, so there's even more to play for.
Obviously, as you said, 5 people around to take the title for Season 8. You got Nathan, who are on board with at the moment, going into the first chicane of the lap. He is currently on 120 points. Then you've got Benji and Ben Milden. They're both tied for second at the moment with 113 points, so only 7 points behind. Dean is on 108. And then you have Adam Morris, who's on 92. You have to feel he's kind of Adam Morris is almost out of it before he really begins.
Yeah, Adam would need a very minor miracle to win this, but weirder things have happened, but I don't think Adam will come away from this champion. I think it's realistically, down to Nathan, Ben and Benji.
So the Dean with an outside chance tonight, but obviously 18 points, a lot. 12 points. It's a lot to gain back. Although with the new point system for this race, it can happen. I mean, you've only got to take 6 points out of. No, not 6 points. Wrong system. You don't have to take a lot of positions ahead really to gain that.
No, of course, in his position, he will have to beat Ben, Nathan, and Benji, and he will have to hope that Nathan realistically is off the podium and Ben or Benji. And I think they could still finish second, so he would need to win and have Nathan off the podium, but with 2 hours anything could happen. Dean's definitely the outsider who has a chance. Of course, Ben, he's won a championship before, he knows what this is like.
So interesting car change that for Jamie FL30, who's joining for the final race, that Cadillac. It could be a bit of a dark horse, because I know it's very quick in a straight line, that thing.
Yeah, I would think. Well, that's technically a second car change, so I'm guessing he's coming into this round on minus 16. But, yeah, long straights should suit the Cadillac. I guess it depends what it can do around the twisty bits through the stadium section. But, yeah, whether he can mix it amongst the front runners and maybe get involved in the championship battle, or maybe he'll float around 8th, 9th and not really get that involved. We'll wait to see as he's already damaged his car.
Only 4.5 minutes remaining in the qualifying session, and currently Nathan is sat on pole, which is not what any of the rest of the field wanted. Gaz, let's tell it, 7/10 for Gaz. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, I've been hearing that the M6 is excuse me, not very good around this track. which is slightly surprising. The M6 is good in straight line speed, it's certainly not the best, but it's probably also helped by the fact we're over a 2-minute lap, so if you're going to lose time on straights, you're going to lose a lot of it here.
The Paul Scott, who is Jamie's teammate there. It's Adam Morris. Is that a new paint scheme for the final race, I see?
Yeah, this is quite a common thing for drivers. They'll run new liveries for end of the season. I did it last season, for my last race I ran my first ever livery, which thankfully was taken over this game, but yeah, it's not a surprise to see people changing liveries as Adam goes second.
There's Gaz back into second.
Second back off him.
Benji and Ben still a second off at the moment. There's Frank.
Yeah, Ben and Benji, not where they would ideally want to be, especially with Nathan on pole. As much as Ben probably wants the title himself, we've got to remember he is paired up with Nathan, so anything he can try and do, he will do. If he can jump Adam at the start, he's going to make it one hell of a difficult ride for them to try and get past him. Gaz, he's the neutral in all of this that can get involved and maybe shape it all. Oh, Ben's almost 9/10 up through the first two sectors.
Yeah, as he comes through the Sachs curve. With a little chicane. Oh, runs a bit wide onto the grass. Lucky to keep that alive through through Opal Curve and then Sud Curve.
Very, very messy into the lap. He lost 8/10. That could have been second place for Ben.
Comes Benji. Now, I haven't seen Benji in the Yeah, that is him in the BMW. I haven't seen him in the BMW yet, because I wasn't around last week. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do in this thing.
Yeah, of course, he took 2 wins last week in Austria, but of course the BMW was by far the quickest car in Austria, so with no Gaz there, he wasn't even going to get troubled from him, so it's a different challenge for Benji this week. He's not going to run away with it like he did last time.
Although it's fair to say, if Gaz gets into the lead of this race, is there any point in fighting him? You might as well just stay behind him, hadn't you? Unless it's an absolute necessary that you need to win the race.
I'm sure if Gaz is involved, everyone will want to get past. They will want every chance they can to maximise points. For whatever reason, they will, even if they lose this, they will come out of this hoping that person could get a penalty. But Gaz is definitely the big factor. Nathan won't have to care about him so much as long as he is just ahead of Ben, Benji and Dean when he's happy, but Gaz could be the pivotal factor in this.
So only 30 seconds left in qualifying now. What can Ben do here? Comes towards us.
Not just for some reason isn't setting a time.
Into the stadium section then. Through the A-chip curve and Sachs curve. Back to chicane towards Opal curve and Sud curve. Time's up. This is the final lap then for Ben Milden of Season 8 of TNGTC, and he still 0.69 off the pace of Nathan there. So this is Boy Raxer. He's just gone through Brems Curve 2 and Ost Curve. There's Jamie coming through Sud Curve with Paul Scott just ahead of him, getting a nice little tow. And that's Paul Scott in pole position. Is it not? No, it's not. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
7. Nathan's still on pole.
No, correct. I just looked at the first 2 letters of the gamer tag then.
Jamie's in a bit of a no man's land. 1 second off the cars ahead, 1.2 ahead of the cars behind.
Although I'm
Bearing
assuming
in mind that
Jamie's
was
probably
wet
running.
slipstream.
Jamie's probably running default setup, really, isn't he? With a few tweaks. I wouldn't have thought
I
he'd have
imagine it'll
practiced
be
for this.
tuned. The only downside for him was that he's done that wet slipstream. I think without slipstream, he may have been even further back.
Lana Morris ends third place at the moment. Comes Gaz across the line, doesn't improve. And here comes Benji, who doesn't improve either. Nathan's the last man. Through Sud Curve, does he increase his gap, or what can he do?
Well,
He
I think that
doesn't.
was a sighter, and he's on 109 litres of fuel, so I think he was getting some early practice in.
Now it's interesting the fact that Nathan is the only one, I believe, in that top flight group, apart from Dean, not to change his car. Of the top 5, I believe it's only him and Dean that haven't changed cars this season.
In fact, Dean isn't even here. I've just realised this.
He's not here, no.
We're talking about him the whole time for this championship battle, and he's not even here.
So Nathan takes pole position away from Gaz here at Hockenheim. Adam Morris third, Ben Milden fourth, Benji is in fifth, Jamie is sixth with Paul Scott in seventh, Frank is in eighth, Doko ninth, Robert is 10th with Rob in 11th and last. Did he actually set a time? Don't believe he did he?
He did.
No, he didn't. No
Yeah.
time set.
And it doesn't have any sort of qualifying ban as far as I'm aware.
Maybe it's a tactic. Maybe he doesn't want to get involved in the carnage up front, because there's a definite chance that we could see an accident here.
Last week's potentially star driver Robert G, he's at the back after 2 stunning races last week.
Has he had a drive? He had a car change as well, and he's now in a Ferrari, I believe.
That was either Austria or the race before they went to the Ferrari, and he was absolutely mega in it last week.
But we await. We await the lights then. Everyone getting their race fuel put in the car.
Yeah, every car running different amounts of fuel they can hold and different consumptions, which will work against the M6. I think it has one of the smaller fuel tanks and the highest consumption. So the thing with endurance is we'll be close to see if this is a 1 or a 2 stop.
See, it's weird. I mean, it all depends on how good your tyres are, because I've done a few endurance races in my time with like the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, and before that in GT3s in the Nissan. And with the Nissan, it was again a 2-hour race, and I managed to do 1 stop, and it was on soft tyres. I think I managed to make softs last a bit.
Yeah, softs are usually what we use, but I don't think, other than maybe the endurance we did in Seguito in Season 5, I don't think we've ever had a 2-stop other than that. Apart from maybe rain affected, so it'd be interesting to see if they feel the need for 2 this time. Whether tyres burn up quick enough.
That's the thing, is whether they decide to stop. I mean, this is what, a 120-minute race? So if you stop at like 40 and 80, you might have better tyres compared to others around you on a 1-stop. But we sync up. We have 3 red lights at Hockenheim Classic. For the final time in TNGTC, we are green. And that is a hell of a start from the Porsche.
Yeah, he's had a ridiculous start. It looks like Adam bogged down a bit. Lucky to keep third.
There's Jamie in 6th place as he goes up the straight. There's massive flag towards Brems Curve 1. Benji almost having to defend here from Jamie up the straight towards Brems Curve 1.
Cadillac has incredible speed. Benji will be screaming at Jamie as he doesn't want him to get involved.
So through Brems Curve 1 we go, and Nathan now has pretty much 1 second to Gaz. And Ben Milden looking like he's wants to have a go at Adam Morris into Brems Curve 2.
Yeah, well, the inside.
He will have him, and he will pass him. That's a brilliant move through Brems Curve 2. You've got to have some balls to try it through there.
Yeah, that's terrible for Adam and Benji. The rival team are ahead of them, and Nathan's rear gunner.
On board with the Cadillac then of Jamie FL30 into Brems Curve 3. Ramp over the curb. Get the power on, get the traction. And then head down towards the stadium section for the first time. Into the Egypt curve. There's Frank Finch, currently in 7th place. There's Doko right behind him as they come into Sachs curve. Oh, that Ferrari's mega under brakes at the moment. Into Oval curve and Sud curve. You see Benji with a slightly alternate line to everyone, trying to get a good run out. I believe that was Robert running it slightly wide. But Nathan, a 2.1 second gap.
Ben's got a great slipstream on Gaz here.
But Gaz doesn't have any slipstream on Nathan.
Ben thought about it into parts, backed out, knows there's plenty of time left.
Yes, 1 hour and 57 minutes remain in this race. Down toward Brems Curve 2 and Ost Curve. There's Frank with Dokoso behind him, and behind that looks like Robert and Paul Scott having a bit of a battle towards Brems Curve 2, with Rob having a good look as well.
Paul's looking to get past Doko, but Doko keeps it. Oh,
yeah.
Robert, sorry.
Robert just keeping the place as Rob runs slightly wide. On board with Rob as we come down to Brems Curve 3. Looks everywhere, but unfortunately in both cases he's got a Ferrari in front of him. And Paul Scott does get past Robert into Brems Curve 3. I'm starting to feel that Rob might be regretting not qualifying in this.
Yeah, well, he wanted a bit of fun, or for some reason he couldn't qualify. I'm sure we know after the race.
Look around the outside though, Sachs curve. Oh, and a bit of a tap as well. Robert keeps the place though. Nathan extends his lead to 3.4 seconds on that lap. He pulled 1.2 out of Gaz on that last lap. That is phenomenal pace from the Porsche man. As Doko now gets past Frank Finch. So at the Nord curve. GT3 engines absolutely screaming their heads off down these straights. Oh, that's Frank in the tyre bundles. That's a big hit.
Good luck if it's coming out that unscathed. I'm sure he might
Oh,
nearly pet as it then gets involved with Rob. Oh.
A messy Brems curve won that for Frank Finch.
Frank's going to be in a lot of trouble after the race for that. into two cars and possibly giving them both damage.
There's Robert with a front bumper hanging off now. Down towards Brem's Curve 3.
Other Rob's car look pretty beat up.
Did he even hit 160 down that straight then?
That's how I was looking. Frank's definitely not hitting 160.
Frank's not even hitting 100. I think Rob's car is driving straight. But Ben under pressure now.
He's down in fifth.
Yeah, that means Benji's got past him.
And Adam.
Interesting stuff here, and Jamie's now harassing Ben, which is not in the script for Ben Milden.
No.
Rob doesn't pit.
Need to pit. Unless it's all just body damage and he's somehow gotten away with it. They had a pretty hard whack into the wall.
I reckon he's down on top speed. If we head to one of the top guys going through... They're going through Brem's Curve 1 now. Let's see what speed he gets in towards Brem's Curve 2.
Imagine they'll be running somewhat similar aero, maybe a couple of clicks different. Of course, Adam has a car behind him. Actually, Adam's passed Gaz.
He has, yes. So I think that was through Brem's Curve 1. So Adam making moves. 164 then into Brem's Curve 2 for Adam Morris.
Adam had a car behind him, which actually pushes you along in this game, so if Rob can get close to that, he'll be okay.
I think Rob might only get 140s. Might get the 150s. It's really slowing up. So 150 there.
154, he braked very early. Maybe he is now conceding that he has damage.
See Frank in the pits as after his excursion, so shall we say? That'll be a very long pit stop.
Yeah, he'll probably get lapped maybe by the entire field.
But we might be watching Gaz and Adam, but Nathan's up the road. There he is.
Yeah, Nathan is long gone. He's had the perfect start.
Not even in shot at the final corner. Does he even get in shot at all here at the moment? I don't think he will.
No, he's already gone round to the Nord curve.
He's got a 5.4 second gap now to these guys. Down towards Brem's Curve 1 for the leading pack then. That is Robert and Robin coming in the pits. So both of them must have some sort of damage.
Yeah, maybe they sort of went for a sighter lap after the hit with Frank and just realised it wasn't happening.
I mean, Frank could end up 2 laps down here on the leaders.
I think he's moving now, so he'll be about a lap and a half down.
I think that's either Robert or Rob coming out the pits. Oh no, that is Frank.
Yep, Frank's rolled out. One of the Robs is moving. Robert G. Makes sense as Rob got the harder hit.
But the Nathan's going through Brem's Curve 3 right now. I think at this stage, all of these guys, even though they're in essence enemies, need to start working together. They need to get the slipstream up together and get after Nathan.
Yeah, that'll be certainly Adam and Benji's plans, but like I said, Gaz is a bit of a cork in the bottle for these two. He's been getting in the way.
As they go into Sachs Curve for their 5th time.
If they start holding each other up, Ben could bring himself back into play. He's not that far behind.
Through Sud Curve. And Adam Morris is pulling away from Gaz, so Benji needs to get a move done, and done now, really.
Yeah, 2 minutes 6 is not great lap times.
Especially when Nathan's putting in 2:05s.
Yeah, Nathan was in 2 minute 4s earlier. So whether Nathan's just sort of pulled it down or he's just not as quick.
I think it might be Nathan maybe conserving tyres.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Up towards Brem curve to an Ost curve for this trio. Looks like Jamie's kind of lost to Ben Milden and Frank's back in the pits. He is not having a good day.
Crashed in his outlap somewhere. Yeah, like in qualifying, Jamie wasn't as quick as these guys and Frank's out. As soon as he lost the slipstream, he doesn't have the pace of these guys.
In through Sachs curve to the Opal curve. And through Sud curve.
Six is all of Ben with a 2 minute 6.7.
News from interesting news from the paddock. Frank Finch had 40% engine damage, which couldn't be fixed. Game over.
Ah, maybe he had his fix setting set wrong. It's a shame.
But through Brem curve 2, the gap between Nathan and Adam right now is 6.7. Up towards Brem curve. That was Brem curve 1, up to Brem curve 2 and Ost curve.
These three are so close, it makes you wonder how people...
Oh, Benji spotted an opening. Couldn't quite get there though. He'll stay on that side for the Ost curve. Surely Adam...
Stay to the side.
Has Benji got anything alongside here? Don't think he has. And Gaz is trying to make a move on Adam into Brem curve 3, which has held Benji up.
Yeah, that was a bit of an accidental move from Gaz. It's quite easy to do. You brake late to defend from someone, you end up nearly passing the other guy.
Almost doing a Max Verstappen move. Outbrake yourself. Outbrake yourself and make a move after.
Is Nathan off?
That's going to be very interesting then. So Nathan's got some work to do. He's down into 4th.
Yeah, he's made some sort of mistake with the agate curve.
Liam, your idea of Frank Finch's damage settings not quite right is correct. He had it to set to fix everything except engine and gearbox.
Yeah. You can change that in your car settings menu, but maybe Frank just sort of gave up and thought, nah, I'm not going to get anything from this, but I don't know. Maybe get it going.
But
8th or something is possible if another car goes out.
Adam Morris now leads from Gaz and Benji.
Nathan, 2 minutes 17, he lost about 11 seconds on that lap through his mistake.
But Adam Morris a bit wide through Brem curve 1, which is going to let Gaza have a look up the inside. As they come towards Brem Curve 2. Robert is out now, so we're down to 9.
That could have been Frank Point. Admittedly, he probably would have spent most of his race under blue flags, but...
Ben Milden is very close now to Nathan.
Yeah,
he's actually having a look into Brem Curve 3.
There's not really need to do, they need to work together.
And Doko's out, so we're down to 8. At this rate, we're going to be down to the 4 championship contenders and Gaz.
Yeah. Frank's gone, so that's especially that's now down to 8. He's probably no longer sitting in the pit lane.
There's Adam Morris. Now, surely you got to think Adam might as well let Benji past. Let Benji have a go at Gaz.
Hold each other up and let each other through. Gaz could get away. So maybe they're thinking, let Adam through, hold Gaz up, let Benji through. Ben's past Nathan, so maybe that was a tactical decision from them.
I just feel Benji is, at the moment, the only one that can really challenge Gaz and potentially get Adam through as well.
Benji's in the driving seat for the championship.
Obviously, it's starting to get dark here at Hockenheim as we're going into dusk.
24-hour cycle. Is Hockenheim a lit up track, or are we just going to be purely headlights?
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Because it's being an old track, they wouldn't have had floodlights around.
Yeah, they might have some.
They might have some. I tell you, they might have some at the Brem curves, but not down the straights, I don't reckon.
Benji trying to pass Adam.
Frank Finch's comment was, watching the finale is probably more exciting than being 2 laps down. Lol.
Yeah, I'm sure several laps down and constantly blue flagged probably wasn't a lot of fun.
But obviously Benji now past Adam Morris and looking at Gaz.
Yeah, Ben and Nathan are looking for him up like the best is perfect.
If Benji can get past Gaz, open the door for Adam, Adam can be a right rear gunner here.
Yeah. Of course you would think with it, Adam and, well, maybe that's one thing, but Benji has the advantage with the fact that Adam can be his rear gunner as he's effectively out of the championship despite being mathematically in it. Ben and Nathan can both win this, so they're not going to be as inclined to work together.
In fact, Nathan has really dropped in pace.
Yeah, then 2-minute 8s, whereas he was doing 2-minute 5s. I think I saw him creeping into 2-minute 4s at one point.
Makes me wonder, maybe he's... because I know you can actually drop the fuel levels, so you can drop it to like a normal as Benji goes wide. And I think that'll be slowdown. Would that be slowdown territory?
I think the penalties are off for this race. I think it was just last week.
Yeah, I know you can mess with the engine mode effectively and put it into like normal and lean. I wonder if Nathan's decided he's going to go try and stretch this in a bit further now that he's made that mistake.
It's very possible. When you're in the slipstream of the car, you save fuel, which of course pretty much all of these guys are. They're in slipstream. Nathan's maybe put it into standard revs, you go along by Ben, try and save some fuel and go a bit longer, try and work. I suppose if he has 5-10 litres more than the others at the pit stops, that's a couple of seconds in the pits. 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds.
See, Adam Morris now back in front of Benji. I do like that sort of thing from from Benji there. He's backed off earlier and tried to get a really good line through it, and it's worked. He's right, still on the back of Adam Morris.
Yeah, I'm sure it's also part of he didn't want to hinder Adam and let Gaz get away. Of course, we really can't afford to lose any time with each other, with Ben and Nathan now only just over a second behind.
Now remember, Benji is 7 points behind Nathan.
If the race were to finish like this, Nathan would still take it by a point.
But then
we have to consider Nathan took pole position.
Yeah, so he's again 2 points up on that. So technically, 9 points separate them.
Here, Nathan could finish 5th and still take it.
See, I'm going to take a punt here that if they finish level, it goes on countback of wins.
It will go on most races won.
Yeah.
Which, I believe, we'll just drag it up, wins. Nathan has 2, Benji has 3. So if they tie, Benji would take it on wins. There's no possible way that they can absolutely draw. I'm sure if they did that, it would go on most second places or something, but no. There'll be no count back, it's gonna be on track.
AOR Smoking Puppy says hi. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, it's fair to say if they can't tie on wins, because if that was to happen, Nathan would take the championship.
Nathan would need to win this. Yeah, it's going to be done on track. We're not going to need countbacks or anything, so we are going to get our champion today. Adam's really piling the pressure on Gaz. This is brilliant. Ben and Nathan are right there, so we've got our 4 championship contenders, all being backed up by Gaz. This is brilliant.
Well, at the moment, there is 2 possibilities where the drivers can tie for the lead. If Nathan was to finish in 5th, and either Ben or Benji finish in 2nd, that would tie up the results. If Nathan was to finish 4th, with Ben or Benji winning the race, that would also cause a tie. And I think...
Yeah, I guess you'd probably have to factor in the fastest lap to that as well. I think
yes.
Nathan has at the moment.
Because that's another 2 points.
So
and that is Nathan. Nathan looking at Ben Milden as well. He gets past through Brem's curve 1. Adam Morris now into the lead.
Two moves, all important, down at the Clark curve. Now this kind of spices it up more. Adam, who's teammated in for the title, is in 3rd. Again, the man who's probably playing the most important role, Gaz, is in between them. 3 main title contenders are 3rd, 4th and 5th. All separated by about a second and a half.
So you've come through Ost curve into Brem's curve 3.
Adam's made a right mess of that corner, but it looks like Gaz didn't do it great either.
And that is Nathan alongside Benji coming down towards the stadium section here.
Gaz has blocked Benji off, which opens the door for Nathan.
Nathan around the outside of Egypt curve. And he's done Benji quite happily there.
Great comeback so far from Nathan. Of course, he got there because he couldn't decide who he wanted to lead.
Into oval curve and sud curve.
If you look at their last laps, Ben and Nathan were the only ones in 2-minute 5s. Everyone else were in 2-minute 6s.
Across the line.
Time round, Adam was in the 5s.
With an hour and 34 minutes to go, if you have only just joined us, we did start with 11 runners, but the endurance race taking its toll on 3 competitors. As we're on board with Nathan, the championship leader, into Brems Curve 1.
Porsche is very, very slippery and good in the slipstream. Known that for so long, it'll be really helping Nathan out here.
I do find it quite funny on Project Cars. You see there on Nathan's dash, it says 48.4 of fuel, when he's actually got 78.
I can't actually see that. I'm controlling everything, but yeah, on my screen it also says he's in neutral.
Yes.
Hell of a fast car for neutral.
Into Brems Curve 3 for the 13th time. Bit of opposite lock that to make sure the back end doesn't kick so much.
You can see with Nathan into the chicanes, he's keeping a little bit of throttle on to try and keep the car stable under braking.
He's going to try around the outside of the A-jip curve on gas. That is not a good idea, and that is why.
Nathan needs to be a bit more cautious. He's in the driving seat for the title. He doesn't need to take his risks.
Where's Ben Milden gone? He's
faster car.
There he is. He's lost a lot of time.
Yeah, Ben seems to have bottled it twice so far in this opening half hour. Maybe if he hadn't done that, he could have been leading this race with all the mistakes everyone else has made.
I believe Jamie and Robert and Rob are having a good little scrap at the moment at the back of the pack for 7th. Completely different lines that into Brems Curve 2.
Yeah, everyone will have their own style and something that suits their car.
But most people ramp over the left-hand curb to get a nice shallow angle into Ost curve after that. But Rob not liking those curbs.
Yeah, some cars like them, some don't. It seems like Adam can take them okay, but maybe they've got different suspension stiffness and ride heights and certain things. The BMW is great over curves, it'll be flying over all of them.
And the Porsche seems to handle it quite well as well.
Nathan's closed back in. Maybe they'll learn from his lessons to maybe be a bit more smart with the overtake.
Although we are talking about Nathan here.
Yeah, even if he was winning this race, he would lunge a back marker or something.
Benji has to get past Gaz. If he gets past Gaz, him and Adam Morris could get away here.
Yeah. Of course, his worry would be if he passes Gaz, how long would it take Nathan to do the same?
Well, if Nathan doesn't pick his moment correctly, then a while. I mean, Gaz is a hard man to overtake. As Benji's finding out, Gaz is a very hard man to overtake.
Oh, Gaz was never easy to pass. It was great me having him as his teammate, as we would just work together. From the very few times I was quicker than Gaz, I'd be let through, and if he was quicker, I'd let him through. I think apart from one race that we're going to say I refused to move for him. He eventually got past me anyway. Yeah, Gaz is a movable object.
So I guess the other thing you could really bring into this now that we're starting to get into night is whose car is going to be better in the cooler conditions.
Yeah, it's quite weird. Seemingly the cooler conditions always seem to give you better grip, which is quite odd. Yeah, cars will act totally differently, and we'll have to see who and what car adapt to it best. He's around the outside Clark curve. He's done it.
I don't know where you are with Clark curve, but that's the Brems curve.
Mine says Clark curve, and then the one at the before the stadium's the Senna curve. That's just my map I have.
I think you got the wrong map.
I'll try and call it the Brems curves. But everything else is right.
Yeah, I believe I know which version you've got on your map.
Ah, yeah, that was just the one I brought up for the race.
Yeah, you've got the 94 to 98 version, which
Ah,
has a slightly different Brems curve 2 to it.
yes, on this map it's a right-left, whereas on this one it's a left-right, I think.
Yeah, we are currently running the 1982 to 1991 version.
Nathan into the back of Gaz. Is he going to let Gaz go? He's let Benji back pass.
He's had no choice to let Benji back pass. He's going to have to let Gaz. And he's going to lose a lot of time in doing so, or face a penalty.
That's if he lets Gaz by. Yep, he's going to. He's half throttle. He realises what he's done. I was literally just about to praise him for saying he's gotten smarter and didn't make a mistake. To agent curve and fly himself off the track.
And his big issue now, he's going to let Gaz through and his teammate.
Yeah, he'll be talking to Ben. I'm sure he'll be saying to Ben, don't pass me, don't pass me. Whether Ben will listen or not.
Well, I guess the only other thing as well is whether Gaz wants to take any action to it.
Yeah, you never know.
Because it very much looks like to me that Gaz has gone, don't worry about it, carry on.
Yeah, I don't think Gaz and Nathan go in the same party. I imagine it'll be Adam, Benji, Gaz, maybe Jamie and Paul. I don't think they will be. So yeah, probably Adam, Benji, Gaz, and then...
Ah, there he goes, lets him through.
Let them by. Nathan in fifth, Benji up in second, Ben ahead of him. He's kind of throwing this away from himself, but at least he's got another 87 minutes to try and claw it back.
Yeah, as it would stand, Benji would be taking 9 points out of Nathan, but obviously with Nathan seemingly at the moment with the fastest lap, that won't be enough.
Yeah, Benji could finish second, Nathan fifth. But you think Adam would let Benji through, but then at the same time, Ben would let Nathan through, so they kind of both hold an ace card if it would stay like this for a while.
Through Sachs Curve they go for their 16th lap in this 2-hour endurance with an hour and 26 remaining.
We'll probably get nearly between 55 and 60 lap race.
Jamie has been passed by Rob.
Looks like Rob's pulled away from him a bit on the map. Paul must be pretty bored.
Go round in a lonely 6th place in his Ferrari.
Get great points, but 30 seconds to the cars behind and 50 to the cars in front. I don't know if he's pitted or not. I imagine he maybe has, considering he's ahead of Rob and JP.
Through Brems Curve 1 then for Gaz, Ben and Nathan. And I tell you what, this is exactly what I was saying earlier. Now that Adam and Benji have got their gap, I don't think they're going to be easily caught.
Well, for Gaz, again, holding the bottle. But Adam and Benji will be slipstreaming each other, helping each other, whereas Gaz, although Ben and Nathan will be getting slipstream, he will be holding them up a little bit.
Down to Brems Curve 3 then. Now, if any of you are wondering why there's a difference in lights, because you can see that Gaz, Benji and Nathan all have yellow tinged lights compared to Ben and Adam who've got whiter lights. That is because there's a slight difference in type. One, obviously, the guys with yellow tint is that's the endurance versions of the cars, whereas the white lights are the normal versions. Now, I don't really understand what difference it really makes, those lights, but...
No, I know there's only one version of the BMW, but... No. I don't remember if the Falcon Porsche is the Endurance or not, but yeah. Nathan will be screaming at Ben to try and get a move on. I think in the endurance cars, I quite often hear this being discussed. But I think Benji says something, at least in the Audi, it just means that you can... One detail is the weight ballast. I think there's an extra option to move that. I think that's literally it.
Look at that, speed of 179 before hitting the brakes for Brem's Curve 1 for Nathan in that Porsche.
The thing is, Adam up front isn't setting that great a lap time. 2 minutes 7.3, whereas these lot battling are still going quicker than that.
But then Adam without a toe, obviously, I mean that, especially around here with the massive straights, is quite key.
Yeah, he'll have a little bit of a slipstream, because the whole weird way that project cars work. Benji will be somehow getting in slipstream, like being behind, but yeah. Adam's not pulling away at the raid one. I thought Ben was gonna go into gas there.
Down towards the stadium section we come. Ben pulls out of the slipstream, looks into the A-jip curve. He is alongside. Does it come up to Sachs curve? Not enough though.
Makes you wonder how long is Ben going to be given until Nathan says, move over, let me have a go.
Frank Finch giving us a definition of why they use yellow tinted lights. Apparently the yellow lights are less distracting slash blinding than the white ones. So, and since endurance racing takes place at night often, they use the yellow lights.
Ah.
And Ben has a supporter in Jack TW.
Not sure why anyone would support Ben, but interesting choice.
They really are starting to ramp that curve at Brem's Curve 1.
Yeah, they'll be trying to take everything out the corner to try and pass gas, which Ben just can't do.
I wonder though how long before they take too much out of that curb.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We saw Frank kind of do it to an extent earlier. We went too deep into that corner, plowing into a tyre wall. Someone could easily mount the curb, spin, and whack into a tyre wall or a wall or anything.
Into Brem's Curve 3. These guys 4 seconds behind. Adam Morris back into the 2 minute 6s and fastest on that last lap of the leading pack. Here comes Ben Milden again down the inside. Again, it doesn't work.
That straight needs to just be a little bit longer for Ben. He just reaches alongside gas at the turning point.
Through the little chicane into Oval Curve. Through Sud Curve they come, and that's a lot of time Ben has lost to gas.
Yeah, Ben really might need to start thinking about letting Nathan go. Nathan's clearly quicker and has the better car in a straight line.
See from here. Oh, and there goes Nathan.
Whether Ben said on you go or Nathan just sort of rest of the matter, Nathan and Ben took a hell of a lot of that curve.
The question is, who's going to blink first? I think we're definitely seeing a one-stop race, but how long before those first pit stops are made?
Yeah, of course, you'll want to undercut to try and gain an advantage depending on where you are. But with such a long race, that can come back to bite you. If Nathan can get past Gaz before then, I reckon he'll be okay, as he probably has the pace to close in on Adam since he's going pretty slow.
Into Brim's Curve 3, and Nathan still trying to find a place to pass Gaz. Has he got a run out of here though?
Yeah.
Yes, he's got alongside. And Ben
Crucially,
looking...
he's got the inside.
Yeah, and Ben looking to follow him through here. And he's alongside Gaz as well, coming into the Egypt curve. And I think a bit of his own medicine taken by Gaz.
Yeah, it almost looked maybe like Ben and Gaz got together, but in gaining a place, Nathan has instantly lost one.
It's the only problem when you've got two drivers battling it out, both can win the championship. It becomes more like Formula 2. They might be teammates, but they're certainly not teammates.
Yeah, the smart thing to do would be to let Nathan go and just let Ben hang to him, as Nathan is a lot quicker, but with Gaz right there, they don't
They're
really have the
losing.
space nor time to do that.
They're losing a lot of time. They're now 5 seconds behind Adam Morris.
Yeah, but in Clean Air, these three are a lot quicker than Adam, so they're all just holding each other up. Of course, Gaz has nothing to lose, but Nathan and Ben have it all to lose.
And here comes Nathan this time. I don't think that's a let bite. I think that's just generally the Porsche being that much faster.
Yeah, Porsche, probably the best car in a straight out of this top 5.
Which I think is very
Sure.
surprising.
Yeah, I think on its own it's not the fastest car, but like I mentioned, just for some reason in Slipstream, it just gains so much more than all the other cars. But now if Nathan can just get his head down and not be passed, maybe if Ben hold up Gaz, with Nathan's pace and what Adam's doing, I feel like Nathan will, a couple of laps and he'll catch up. Maybe Benji will ask Adam to move now that Nathan's in third.
I mean, look at that. Nathan's already ripped a second out of the leading two.
Yeah, he's going far, far quicker than Adam and Benji. The way it's turned around, Adam is supposed to be Benji's rear gunner, but Adam is ahead of Benji. So Nathan catches up. His first target is his championship rival.
But maybe this is part of the plan between Benji and Adam. Maybe it's to get Benji in the slipstream and conserve as much fuel, because that, as we know, the BMW is a very hungry beast.
Yeah, and it has one of the smallest fuel tanks if you just compare. So Benji has more fuel than Nathan. I'm not sure what the Porsche's fuel tank or consumption is like. I think it holds more.
Well, I know the Porsche holds 120 litres. I got a feeling the BMW might hold 130.
BMW's 110.
I thought the BMW was 130 because it used up more fuel.
I think that's the Mercedes. BMW is definitely 110 because I drove it in a couple of endurances and bemoaned my small fuel tank, but unless he's done what we thought Nathan was doing and sitting in slipstream and turning the engine down a little bit. The fuel all seems... See what Gaz's fuel is, 40... Oh no, that's bad. 49.4 for Gaz. Gaz has used a litre more than Benji. And they'll all have started on fuel.
Look at that last lap for Nathan, a 2:04.9, and Gaz is now back past Ben.
1.3 seconds straight out of Adam. That included overtaking Ben.
Ben now down into 5th. He's not having a good race.
Yeah, Gaz has passed him, but Nathan's already got nearly 2 seconds to Gaz, sorry. So he's probably got enough that Gaz is out the slipstream and he's safe from him, as he's definitely got the faster pace. Nathan is by far the fastest on this track. It's just he needs to keep out of trouble.
Through Brems curve 3 then. I think we should. I reckon if they can make it to around 50 minutes left in the race, that will be a good time to pit.
Yeah, if you leave, well, say Nathan pits bang on an hour and Adam and Benji pit 50 minutes, they'll have the advantage at the end, but they'll have left themselves open to 10 minutes of undercut. It's a bit
But
of a high risk, high reward situation, whatever
this
you do.
this is the thing though, in endurance, do you want to get the undercut? I mean, round here not is not a hard place to overtake round here.
No. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure what the tyre situation is around here, because there's some tracks where you don't think the undercut would work, and you gain 3 seconds doing an undercut. I can't remember the exact track, but there was a track like that where undercut was just unbelievable. You never know. They'll know a lot more than we do. And they'll already have plan A's, B's and C's most likely.
I reckon, in my opinion, I'd try and push this to 40 minutes left if possible. Because I personally, I'd prefer to have that rear traction coming out of those chicanes, because they're not even surfaces; they are very slippery chicanes.
Yeah, I remember season 6 we had an endurance race around Monza, and I think I pit with about 25 minutes to go for my only stop. And that was only because I was fuel limited. The tyres just kept going and going and going and going. So, I imagine they're probably fuel limited over tyre limited, as Nathan's still setting solid times. He's in 2 minute 4s last lap.
I mean, the other thing is, how much fuel are they going to need to put into the car? Because a tank of fuel in this game does not get you 2 hours worth of running.
No, they'll have worked it all out. I remember I used to always do mine on the fly, and Gaz would just make me do it. I used to work out by how much would I use in a half hour, times that by 4, how many would that work out into litres, and how long would that make my stop, and it's a bit of a high pressure situation trying to work out all of that, and trying to make sure. Sometimes I got it wrong, sometimes I overfueled by about 30 litres, but I'm sure some people are more calculated than me.
That's very interesting. I used to get down to a point where I had about 15 litres left. I then used to do I done a lap where I saw what my consumption was, and then I'd look at my times and then the time remaining. And I'd work it out through that. I'd work out roughly how many laps I'd have left in the race.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. Worked out at different time checkpoints how much I'd used, and then times that time checkpoint by however much. But then you have to calculate, was I on slipstream? Will I be in slipstream? Will it maybe save fuel? Will it not? For some endurances, Gaz used to always underfuel. I think at Daytona he had to save about, I can't remember what endurance race it was, but he had to save about 5 litres in 2 laps. Maybe no, I think it was about 4 laps. He had to try and save about 5 litres, so he was just excellent.
Into Brems curve 2 and Ost curve for the leading pair, who are now being hunted down by the championship leader. Benji is at 41 litres of fuel remaining in his car in that BMW. Obviously this circuit, a very high one I would say for fuel consumption based on the amount of full throttle.
Yeah, looks like in an hour Benji's going to use about 100 litres, which is pretty high. I reckon he's going to have to put somewhere about 70 or 80 litres in at his pit stop, depending on when he pits. If he pits at the hour mark, yeah, about 80 litres.
Through Sud curve then for the 24th time in this endurance race. I mean, once you got this quiet period, I mean, Liam, obviously, final race for TNGTC. You've been in there a lot longer than I have.
Yeah, racing season 1.
I mean, most things like this don't really last this long. I mean, what is it about this particular one that's made it go 8 seasons?
I think it's just... We certainly haven't had consistent drivers from season to season. We've had our core group like Adam, Benji, Gaz, Ben, myself, and even Andrew AMH Racing for a while, but I think it's just the fact that, not to big ourselves up or sound cocky or anything, but I think this is genuinely one of the fastest leagues in budget cars, and it's just a great way for people to test themselves and get mega close racing, and most of the time mega clean racing, and it's just amazing to race some of the fastest people and try and compare yourself against them. I was lucky enough to win 11 races in this, so any win is special against drivers like this.
Obviously, going forward, it's getting rebranded and new formats, new leagues as well.
Yeah, we're getting a British Touring Cars series, even though it's not, British Touring Cars, but it will be the Touring Cars. We'll have a Formula Renault series and a multi-class endurance series where I think it is GTE in LMPH.
I think it's LMP1 and LMPH. LMP1H, I think.
Is it a mix of the two?
Yeah,
I remember I was involved in a race that was a mixture of LMPs and GTE cars, and I was teammates with Benji in the Ford, and that was a brilliant race. Me, him, and Gaz for all 2 hours were separated by tenths. We ended up having a 1-2 from Ford, and it was great. So hopefully we get more of that in this multi-class series.
You watch this, obviously Nathan's still closing down the leading duo, but not as quickly as he was before. I mean, he still pulled half a second out of Adam Morris, but it wasn't the 1 second it was a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, he's getting close to the 1 second mark, so we'll be getting slipstream in a lap or so. That'll really help him close in.
Surprising that Gaz has really dropped. Gaz just hasn't been able to stick with Nathan nor catch up to this leading duo. It's a bit surprising, really, for Gaz, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe the track just doesn't suit the car that much. But Benji's certainly doing okay in it, but he always has a teammate to help him. But yeah, Gaz has kind of been Mr. Consistent in this race. He's not been involved in any incidents or moments, but obviously just doesn't have the same pace as Benji or Nathan or maybe even Ben. And it's all about consistency for Gaz, and at the moment he's getting P4 out of it, despite qualifying second.
Down towards Egypt curve to enter the stadium section. Sachs curve. Apparently Frank's Merc was using 3.5 litres per lap. So some interesting statistics there from a driver. Across the line to complete the 26th lap of this race. And obviously, once we hit the 1 hour mark, we'll get to a little bit of an idea of how many laps will be left in this race. Obviously, still with pit stops to come.
Yeah, we should be looking at about 58, 59 laps. It's quite little for an endurance race, but maybe in the next 2 or 3 laps we might start seeing the first pit stops from this top 5.
There is Ben with Gaz in the BMW. and a Brems curve 2. Much better line that from Gas.
Yeah, BMW will be able to just mount those curves and take the ideal line, whereas Ben might just be able to tip it to the engine a little bit.
I mean, I guess with an endurance, the first, especially with the 2 hour one, the first hour and a half really is just getting round, making sure you don't make any mistakes.
Yeah, consistency is quite often key in an endurance race, because usually during 2 hours someone's going to make a mistake or have a spin or anything. You thought Nathan was totally controlling this race and he threw it all away, and now he's in jeopardy of not winning this title. The same can happen to Adam or Benji or Ben or anyone who can throw it away.
But as it stands, if it was to finish like this now, Nathan would be champion. Because Benji would only be pulling 3 points on him in the race, and we know that Nathan has fastest lap, so that only really correlates to 1.
Yeah, as long as Nathan's on the podium, there's nothing Benji can do. It certainly seems like Nathan has the pace to easily be on the podium as fast as Gaz. Gaz is holding up Ben.
But right now,
like Benji through,
I think right now, in order for Benji to win this championship, he'd need to win with Nathan in 5th, and that includes the fastest lap that we think Nathan's going to get. As Ben goes around the outside of the Brems Curve 1.
Yeah, Ben's finally pulled that move off, but yeah, Nathan got a minute 20 back to 6th place. You think he's not going to finish outside that top 5. He has Ben in there who will. Ben would go around the last lap at 2 miles an hour to give Nathan the place to win the title.
We approach the hour mark as we head into Brems Curve 2. Adam Morris and Benji have picked the pace up a little bit. They are in the 2:05s. They're still losing time though to Nathan, but that time advantage is definitely decreasing.
Yeah, Nathan now 8/10 behind. He's going to be getting slipstream down these straights, which will help him a lot. Will we see any of them dive in on this lap?
It wouldn't surprise me to see Nathan try and undercut here.
None of them hit. Or Ben or Gaz. Gaz is.
Gaz. So the first man to blink in this top group, or the top 5, is Gaz.
I feel like when we get some responses this lap, Nathan might want to jump them, Benji might want to jump Adam. We're bang on the halfway mark.
One hour
Nathan
and
fuel compared to Benji. Nathan has more fuel.
that was a lot of curve from Benji.
Adam has not a lot of fuel. I wouldn't be surprised if we came out of the stops with Nathan in the lead.
So we approach the hour mark, 5 seconds to go. We are now halfway through this endurance race at the Hockenheim Classic Circuit. Less than an hour to go. The next half hour, I would say they want to be staying consistent, but I believe the last half hour is when everyone's going to go for it.
Jamie being flashed at to get out of the way.
And the reason being that Nathan's right on Benji's tail now.
I feel like whatever Benji does, Nathan's going to do the opposite. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we see.
Oh, and Benji almost losing the rear end through Egypt curve, which is very easy on this game. Very well held, but he's now lost the place to Nathan. Does anyone dive in? No.
Ben is.
Ben will be, because he's got to cover off Gaz. I tell you, that shows you just how much of a pit stop it is around here.
Yeah, and endurance races, pit stops, just your stop time in the box to be ending up to 50 seconds. So we've lost Jamie down to 7.
Remember, to gain points, they need to do an hour and a half of this race, I believe, is it?
Yep, that'll be 75%. Nathan's setting personal best sector times.
Oh, but he's lost the rear.
Oh.
Through Ost curve.
Don't silly now, Nathan. But he was going to spin it on the grass. The third mistake we've seen from Nathan is he got it all to do again. Now where? There's Ben, there's Gaz.
This is going to be tight coming out of the pit lane. I think this will be very, very tight.
Gaz has done it.
He's done the undercut. Nathan.
Now, will Nathan have lost so much that he's going to be behind them?
The question is, who's going to blink first out of these top 3? Because if Benji goes in now, that is really going to ruin Nathan's race here, because Nathan, ideally, will probably want to undercut, because he knows he's quicker.
I think Nathan, with his tire situation, will want to probably come in now, unless he feels he's got 2 or 3 quick laps in him, and he's going to just try and blast past these guys.
Here we go then. He's going to try and overcut.
Yeah, of course he'll have worse tyres, but he'll have 80 odd litres less than everyone else. This is going to be maybe 2 or 3 qualifying style laps for Nathan, just to try and keep ahead of Gaz and deficit down from Nathan and Adam and Benji, sorry.
Just got to go careful with Brem's curve too. He just took far too much curb going into the right hand part of it.
Yeah, if he can do 3 perfect fast laps, who knows? Of course, he'll have to put less fuel in than everyone, which will save him a couple of seconds. Will Gaz have gained anything on Adam and Benji?
Up to Brem's curve 2 and the Ost curve for Nathan. Again, he takes a lot of curve through that right hand part.
Adam and Benji are moving. Gaz and Ben are only coming through the Opal curve.
And into Sud curve they go. So that's going to be decided. And it's Benji out.
Is ahead of Adam.
How much fuel did Adam take then? More.
119.
That's more than Benji. Benji's only got 112.
Yeah. Maybe the BMW's more than 110. I always thought it was 110. Maybe it was 120. Yeah, Adam, I think he's brimmed his tank, and Benji has not. Because Adam had used more fuel than everyone in the first stint.
Well, I did read out earlier that Frank's Mercedes was doing 3.5 litres per lap.
Yeah, so maybe the Mercedes is a higher consumption. Maybe this track's altitude. I know the
Nathan's
Mercedes
in.
isn't turbocharged, I don't think.
Nathan is in. Oh, he always spins it in the pit lane.
Yeah, right as his AI was taken over, he was not lacking commitment into the pit lane.
I think these two have got this.
Yeah, I think we're more going to be a question of Gaz. I think Nathan should slot in ahead of Gaz, but of course Nathan has to take on less fuel than everyone.
But that's interesting. Look at the
Yeah,
in-lap.
yeah,
Look at the
couple
in-lap
seconds there.
of Nathan. Nathan's in-lap was 7/10 quicker than Benji's.
I don't think that'll have counted Nathan's lap yet. Of course, he had to go into the pits, and Benji's box might have been somewhere else. But yeah, Nathan, he will. Interesting to see where he will come out when he starts moving.
Oh, they're coming through
Moving
oval
now.
curve.
At 84 litres, I didn't think he'd have to put much in.
They're
And
going
I
through
think, as I
Sud
predicted, Nathan's going to come out ahead in the pit stops.
by a good gap as well.
Yeah, and great fuel consumption from Nathan. That alone has put him in the lead of the race. So has he maybe made a mistake, as he's got a lot less fuel than everyone. He may have to fuel save later, but if we can build up a gap and just go quick now.
Well, he's now got 4 seconds to Benji.
Yeah, maybe if he can just go through the stadium section, maybe short shift, maybe a bit of
Am I,
coasting and lean mix.
am I right in thinking that maybe Paul's made a mistake somewhere along the line, because he's now behind Rob?
Maybe, unless that's just Paul pitting. Of course, Rob pitted very early. So, maybe. Rob's feel like 94? No, Rob must have pitted somewhat recently. So yeah, maybe Paul has had a very, very long stop, or he's made a mistake somewhere. Gotten damage and had to fix it, who knows?
It's going to be interesting this to see how this pans out now. We've got 51 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. We're on lap number 32. And all pit stops have been made. Gaz has not dropped Ben at all.
In Nathan's current position, he would only need to use 1.5 litres a lap to finish the race. I think Nathan has messed up somewhere. I know this game works in whatever you put your fuel to, how much you tell it to add, that's actually what it goes to, unless you want it to add 80 litres, but it's only putting up to 80. Works different from Project Cars 1, so maybe he's been caught out by that.
Get a lot of curb through Brem Curve 1. It's going to be interesting in Brem's Curve 2 for Nathan, whether he's still taking a ton of curb through the right-hander as he approaches it.
I'm going to play it safer now in the lead, but Adam is actually on the charge for Benji. Benji's not got a lot of pace since his pit stop.
Maybe his car's more set up though for when the fuel's a bit lighter, because he did increase in pace as the car got lighter compared to the people around him, obviously.
Or maybe the worst case scenario was happening, his team have put hard tyres on him, but I think his pace is still okay enough for that not to be the case, but Adam is through. And the way Benji's going, he might have Gaz and Ben to deal with soon.
Down to Egypt curve. These two now 5.4 behind Nathan.
Yeah, now the main question is all about Nathan's fuel consumption. Will he be able to finish the race on this? Will he need to be able to fuel save enough, or will he need to make a quick pit stop?
There's Gaz and Ben.
He just how much Gaz is struggling, considering that was his fastest lap, and it's only a 2 minute 5.9. Still 2 seconds quicker than Benji though.
Down towards Brems curve 3 then, for the 34th time. Just about see Nathan in that shot going into the Egypt curve.
Yeah, he's got over 6 seconds now back to Adam. He's a better lap for Benji, 2 6.2.
Still nowhere near the time though of Nathan.
No, Gaz was the only other one in 2 minute 5s, and he's holding Ben up. Adam doesn't have pace, Benji doesn't have pace, Gaz is holding up Ben. And the question is Nathan's fuel. I'm not sure, but Nathan, I'm not sure, but he might have gotten his fuel right. If you watch him go wide. For a feature race, drivers usually use between 60 and 70 litres. I'm not sure if Nathan has absolutely nailed this or miscalculated.
Well, I guess the best way of dealing with it is as he comes around the final corner, maybe go have a lap with him and keep an eye on that fuel count.
Yeah, Gaz has passed Ben.
Once he crosses the line, let's see how much fuel he uses in a whole lap. Because bear in mind, even though 60-70 litres would do a feature race, it's always going to be slightly different on a track like this where it's fully flat out.
Yeah. We'll see what he comes round the line with, and we'll see what he's round here in about another 2 minutes time.
So he crosses the line here at 71.0.
Yeah, it's good that it's a 0.0, we've got an exact guess.
Up towards Brems curve 1 then. Not as much curb taken this time.
No, he has the pace.
And Jamie has now left, but he already retired. towards Brems Curve 2 and Ost Curve. This is the interesting one for me because he takes a lot of curve through the right-hand part of this flick left-right chicane.
Yeah.
How much is he taking? Not as much. So definitely being a lot safer now. Through the Ost Curve. Then all the way down to Brems Curve 3.
Yeah, it was already 2.1 litres used.
So out of Brems Curve 3 we come down to the Egypt Curve, into the Stadium section, which is still used today. But I think nowadays is known as the Mobile 1 curve. Up to Sachs Curve.
Sachs Curve.
Through the little flick left right that has no name. Then through the Opal Curve, which is no longer named the Opal Curve, it's just nothing. Isn't actually known as the Sud Curve 1, and this is Sud Curve, which is now Sud Curve 2. I'm going to be using 67.8 then. So he's using 3.2 litres a lap. And with 67.6 left in the tank, he can do apparently another 21 laps.
I'll do 3.3 times 21. That's 69.3. He's not that far out if he can fuel save.
I think he might be spot on here actually. Because they're not going to reach, they are not going to reach 59 laps, I don't think.
No.
I think they're only going to do 38, and he's pretty much almost bang on. I think he might be a lap short.
Yeah, and I'm sure he can save 3-4 litres over 40 minutes.
But here's the other thing, as the car gets lighter, it uses less fuel.
I don't think that actually applies to this game.
Does it not?
Make sense.
It makes sense if it does.
I never found that in this game. I found throughout the race it was always exact same per lap, barring a bit saved here and there for slipstream, but of course this is all theoretical. It's whether Nathan's smart enough to realise he needs to save a couple of litres, or whether he gets the last 10 minutes and goes, oh crap, I need to save like a lap's worth of fuel.
See in the background there, Anamor's and Benji. Not a lot of movement going on right now.
No, the pit stops have really shook things up. Benji doesn't seem to have pace in this second stint.
So you ride along on board with the dullest sounding GT car on the planet, into Brems Curve 1. Out of that, around the long curve, into Brems Curve 2 and the Ost Curve. I mean, the lead now for Nathan's almost 10, no, it's 8.3.
Yeah, I'll go up slightly once Adam has to brake and take this corner.
Although he has lost a couple seconds through the Ost Curve, maybe a bit of a wiggle.
Yeah,
through
Nathan
it.
needs to maybe just calm down at this point and know he's got out the bag, maybe save a bit of fuel and just take it easy. He's got the pace, it's his to lose. wayward through Adam through Brent curve 3.
Yeah, they didn't really lose too much time as we go down to Egypt curve.
No, I didn't lose time, just a tad losing the rear end, which is fine.
And again, Nathan's lost a bit more time on this lap. He's now down to the 7-second mark.
Maybe that's him fuel saving, or maybe he had a bad lap, who knows, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
They are approaching Paul, who is a lap down. "38 minutes left in this endurance race." Just a quick flash of the lights out from Adam.
He's wayward from Adam out of Brent's car 3.
And you can see here, Benji is starting to come into his own. He was a tenth of a second quicker than Adam on that last.
Yeah, maybe Adam's waywardness out of Brent's car 3 helped, and slipstream helped him. Maybe he has just found his feet. Whether it was a wayward lap from Adam or Benji's just picked it up. Good luck, Benji.
Again, I think this BMW is set up to be on the lightweight fuel.
Yeah, could it be?
Because let's be honest, it's a bus in the first place with very little fuel, let alone putting in another whole tank worth.
I think even when Benji's car comes into its own, it doesn't have the pace Nathan does.
To be honest, I don't think anyone's car has got the pace that Nathan does. Oh, that's a lot of curve from Benji.
Yeah, Nathan's seems to just sit this track best. Porsche obviously very good in straight lines, and obviously Nathan's been one of the drivers of the season, so seems to have been a good combination, and he's going to win his first TNGTC title if he can just keep it all under wraps.
It's going to be prestigious though, isn't it? Nathan to win the final winner of TNGTC.
Yeah, it would have been good to see Gaz involved, but obviously he wasn't officially part of the league in his first 3 or so events, so he probably would have been right involved in all of this if he was classified in the first few rounds. But Gaz winning every title from season 3 to season 7, and in the same time me and him winning every team's title, so I'm sure people are happy for a change, different teams and drivers winner. And we even have our season 2 champion on the grid, Ben, down in 4th.
It's all just a bit.
Champion stopped racing a while ago in miniature racing.
It's all just a bit stalemate right now.
Yeah, these two are the only ones near on track. A slower lap from Nathan, whether that was just bad lap or again, maybe he has realised he has to save a bit of fuel. Ben, not really closing out on Adam and Benji, of course, they're pushing each other along. Adam's dragging Benji along with section. The way this game works, Benji will also be pushing Adam along, and Ben's got no one. If anything, I'd say Gaz is closing back in on Ben.
Into Brem's curve 2 they go. A lot less curve used by Benji through there. Probably a wise idea. And here's your leader. Nathan coming into Brem's curve 3 in that number 44 Falcon Porsche. Now it kind of means something that Nathan stayed with the Porsche, stayed loyal to it. He thought about changing, didn't he? He thought about changing to the Mercedes.
Yeah, he's one of the only ones that didn't take the points drop, and of course he's going to win this having missed, I think, 2 rounds. Of course, Adam changed, Benji changed, Ben changed. Ben, maybe he kind of regrets getting out of the Porsche. Maybe seeing what Nathan's done and thought, I could have done the same.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, if he'd stayed in the Porsche, could have been leading this championship at this point of the season.
Yeah, he wouldn't have taken the points drop, and of course Gaz has stayed in his title-winning M6 from last season. Which doesn't seem to work that great round here.
About 32 minutes remain, so for anyone still in, they've just got to drive around for another couple of minutes, and points will be awarded. But right now, as it stands, Nathan would take a full house of points. Pole position, winning, and fastest lap. Was that 34 points, I believe that's worth?
Yeah, if he gets the full house, that's 34 points. Whereas in a normal feature race, the max you can get is 22. I remember back in season 3 or 4, I remember me and Gaz, when the points system was different, took 88 points as a team from Silverstone. And that was the maximum you could get. We 1-2'd the race, Gaz got pole, fastest lap, and it was a hell of a round. The fastest lap didn't count there, because it always, whenever you went in the pits you got the fastest lap, but I don't think anyone team will be taking max points from today.
Into Sachs curve then for Nathan, the 42nd time. So there's one big thing now, we're coming into the last half hour and you've got to make sure you stay focused. You cannot drop off at all.
Yeah, for Adam, Benji, Ben and Gaz, they're probably still focused as they all have an objective. Whereas Nathan, he's in the lead, he's comfortable, he's where he needs to be. It's quite easy for him to slack and maybe do what he did at the start of the race and go off the Egypt curve or Bennett at one of the chicanes or anything. Well, the pressure's on Nathan to try and keep it on the track.
Down towards Brem's curve 1. If you're wondering why there's a bunch of tyre barrier missing, that's because Frank Finch did hit it in some style.
Very early on in the race.
So the gap between Gaz and Ben is really staying a bit stable here, around 3 seconds, although Ben did do a 2:05 last lap around.
Ben keeps that up. Because we haven't really seen that from Ben so much this race. We've seen him sort of matching Gaz's pace and perhaps being a bit slower than the Snakes Unite cars, but if he can pump in 2-minute fives, mid 2-minute fives, he could catch them before the end of this.
Because the team's championship as well. I mean, what was the points gap between that?
There was 12 points in favour of Snakes Unite.
See, that could get interesting.
Oh, I think that's in favour of Mean Green, actually. I'll have to bring up the team's points table, as that was not sent to me pre-race, but I think it's actually in favour of Mean Green. I'll quickly go and find that and confirm. Of course, Nathan's in the lead of the championship and Ben's tied second, so yeah, it will be in their favour.
Well, they're not necessarily, because the points deductions only apply to the drivers, not the teams, as far as I'm aware.
Ah, yeah, maybe. So yeah, actually it is in favour of Snakes Unite. I thought it would have been Mean Green once you take the driver standings into consideration, but no. So as it stands, Snakes Unite would be the team's champions, but if Ben can get past them, what would that be? First and second.
Well, let's put it this way, was it? If the results were to finish now, Nathan would get 34 with Adam Morris on 27. That's 7-point extras. Benji will get 3 points more than Ben. I'm correct.
Yeah,
in my
Benji will
math.
get 24, Ben will get 21. So if it stays like this, Snakes Unite are teams champions. What if Ben...
By 8 points as well.
Yeah, Nathan should get 34. So say Ben passes Adam, that's 58. Snakes Unite would get 48. So they would take it by 2. So Ben needs to get second, or have Adam and Ben or Benji crash and drop way down, or out of the race. So unless Ben can get the both of them, it is Snakes Unite's team title.
We are over 3/4 of the way through the race, so points are going to be handed out from now. But we're starting to see daylight again.
Yeah, I was about to say the sun's starting to poke back out over the Hockenheim ring. I think Nathan has actually been saving fuel.
So on to lap number 45. 25 minutes remain.
Unfortunately, this is what happens with endurance races. At some point, they do get a bit dull. But there's still so much that could potentially happen in this race. But it all depends on Nathan binning it. Which obviously we don't hope on him, but that's what would spice this race up.
So what we could do with now is a safety car.
Yeah, that would be... I don't know, maybe Project Cars 3. Of course, maybe when Frank smacked the wall, we could have got one that could have spiced it up. Maybe
Well,
someone could just go on purpose crash and bring it out.
Well, I do wonder, because on this, I mean, I wonder if it's possible to have someone, maybe you have a 15 car grid or a 14 car grid, and have someone actually sat in a road car at the end of the pit lane. And you could actually have
I guess you'd have to somehow portray it to all the drivers so that they know when don't just think it's a competitor and possible that you need to be very well executed.
I mean, in theory, because obviously most races are nowadays are streamed, commentated on. In my opinion, I mean, you could always get the commentator to have some sort of communication link with a safety car driver, maybe, and maybe just send them like a message, like a WhatsApp or something like that. Because there's so much technology around nowadays.
Yeah, in
And
fact, I think at the PlayStation parties you can switch yourself to be talking in the game. Then again, with everyone else in parties, they wouldn't hear you. Yeah, who knows? I'm sure there's a way you could probably work it.
but enough of safety car fantasies. We still have 23 minutes left. Daylight is coming. And we're now watching Paul, who's in 7th and last right now. "11 starters. We have lost 4 of those. And Gaz is in the pits. I got a feeling Gaz might have crashed. He's got no front lights.
Yeah, maybe.
He's got no front lights. There we go.
Oh, there they are.
They've appeared at the pit stop.
We'll have to see how quick this stop is, because if he goes pretty quick, maybe it's just a tyre change and he's just going to go for fastest lap. Because he knows he's got enough time to stay out in 5th, easily. In fact, yeah, Gaz. Nathan is just coming round Sud Curve. So even though that was a relatively short stop, Gaz is going slow.
I think he's just going to let Nathan through, isn't he? There goes
Yeah,
Rob.
but he's also going to let Rob through.
I don't really think that's much of an issue though for Gaz.
No, you imagine he'd dispatch Rob quick and...
Doesn't really make things easy, that, for Nathan.
No. I'm sure Gaz would never intentionally do anything to anyone, but... shouldn't
Oh, no.
Gaz maybe just not used to his fresh tyres. I'd love to see from a different angle, was the front of his car damaged? Because he's now a lap down. The car doesn't look damaged.
But then if he's fixed it in the pit stop, it won't.
Oh yeah, of course. It's only on your own screen that the damage stays. For us, it will have disappeared. Maybe we'll finally get something to watch. Gaz will close down Rob and maybe have a battle.
But with 20 minutes to go, Nathan still leads this by nearly 10 seconds.
Gaz is lifting off very early and taking a route. Something's not right with Gaz.
Maybe he's got a wheel problem, actually, the equipment he's using, because I don't think the car's damaged, unless he still has some damage and he didn't fix it.
No, he's lifting off a lot. Something's definitely not right. Very possible. I remember at Daytona, about an hour 20 into the endurance race, my wheel lost all force feedback and I really struggled. So maybe something similar has happened to Gaz with, presumably, his brake pedal.
Back in the pits, so...
He's carrying on. Is this Gaz out of the race? Or is he trying to make some quick adjustments? He's moving again.
Frank has said that just before Gaz pitted, he did see a yellow flag at the top on the map at the final corner.
Do we have flags? I didn't think we did.
Yeah, we do get flag signals on the map. It'll.
Didn't know that. I didn't think we got them.
Yeah, we do. Because I look out for them in the other stuff that I commentate on.
Well, Gaz is on the move again. We'll see if it can break for Brains Curve 1.
That's a lot better.
He slowed it that time. Now, no matter what, he's getting points for 7th. Can I get the points for 6th? I think Rob is no longer possible unless he... Now, Rob won't need to pit for fuel. Well, now, Gaz has 18 minutes, or effectively a sprint race, to try and hunt down Paul and pass him. With Paul in 2 minute 9s, you think he probably should if his car stays okay.
I wonder, yeah, I think maybe he was adjusting something on the car, because I know you can adjust various little bits on the go, but it's obviously quite hard around here to do it because you're out of one corner and suddenly arriving at the next because you're doing 160 miles an hour.
Yeah, I can't imagine he would have needed to pull over to do that, so I'm not sure what went wrong. It was definitely something with his brakes. Maybe he had something stuck in his brake pedal, or maybe his brake pedal had lost calibration and needed to do a flyby recalibration, but all seems to be fine now. He's gained a lot on Paul. Benji's now down in 4th. Something's happened to Benji somewhere.
And this is key because Ben Milden is now in 3rd and will take away 2nd in the championship.
Yeah, Ben will outright beat Benji. Okay, so does Benji have damage? And if Ben can do anything about Adam, or if Adam doesn't keep it on the road, will it be Mean Green's team title if Ben can somehow find a way past Adam? 13 seconds down in the first sector. Theo has made his mistake somewhere at the Nord curve.
I'd say maybe he's just spun it, maybe caught the grass on the exit.
Yeah, it's very possible. He was going slow out of the Nord curve when we caught him. So his best lap was slow on, so it's somewhere there. Gaz's lap is when he comes around, so he falls back to normal. Oh, it's Nathan's fuel situation. 24 litres for, you would say, 8 more laps?
Yes, yeah, about eight laps.
3 litres. Will he realise he has to save a few more litres? If he runs out of fuel and stops, that is race over for Nathan and title over, and it'll be Ben who takes the championship.
So Rob in the background there, he is laps down.
Yeah, still 5th though, so good points for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Gaz is a couple of corners from setting a time, his first representative time since moving again.
.206.9.
Not amazing, but back on it. 3 seconds quicker than Paul.
Into Bremskurve 1. Up towards Bremskurve 2 then. this about the only, well, this is the only battle on track at the moment.
Yep, pretty much.
A lot quicker from Gaz through Brem's curve 2, which means he's a lot quicker through the Ost curve. Paul instantly defending.
Yeah, I think Paul knows it's somewhat of a futile defence, as Gaz is going to be, yep, already clear enough for Paul to pull in behind for Brem's curve 3. Nathan with the slow laps, and presumably that is his fuel saving started.
Yeah, he's still got 8 seconds to Adam, and Ben is not catching Adam either.
No. That was an improved lap from Adam, a 2:05.9. But yeah, Gaz's front of his car is pretty beat up actually. So he has bent it somewhere, it's all bent and buckled. So he has stacked it somewhere.
I thought he did, because
Maybe
he entered the pits without any front lights, but the rear lights were still on.
Yeah, you can see now that it's light, the front end is all bent up, so maybe his crash was down to whatever error he was experiencing with his brakes.
This is the 51st lap for Nathan. This is these guys' 50th. There is your leader, championship leader, and at the moment champion-elect.
You can see Nathan lifting and coasting into that corner.
Gotta go careful though, because Adam won't hesitate in catching him and passing him.
No, but Nathan knows that as long as he stays in third, with Adam winning and Ben second, he's fine.
I'm surprised he's not short shifting as well, actually.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised with that. I don't know what engine mode he's in. Ben had a very good lap on the last lap, 6/10 out of Adam, but I need to go a lot quicker than that, considering he has about 5 laps left after this one.
So, 7 seconds now the gap. I think actually Adam might run out of time.
Yeah, he'd need to close in about 2 seconds a lap and pass him.
Still going to that 8,000 rev mark at the moment for Nathan.
You see him coming out of that corner in third, and he's now realised he's got to just save a bit more.
He's got to save a lot more in my opinion. If he was using 3.2 a lap, he's only got 4 laps left in the tank. And I reckon we've got 5 more laps of this.
Yeah, so he's probably got to save about 1.5 to 2 litres.
Well, I think if you want to be safe, you want to be possibly 3 litres.
Yeah.
Right now, he needs 16 litres of fuel just to be on the safe side.
Who knows, even if he chucked in another 5-10 litres in his pit stop, he may still have come out ahead of Adam and Benji. So he's maybe caused himself his own headache.
And the issue is, if he chucks that car into lean mode, it will save him fuel, but it means he's going to be deadly slow on the straights.
Yeah, because the lean mode actually works quite odd in this game. It doesn't reduce your power, it just means you can only go to about 75% throttle, which is infuriating.
I mean, I guess the biggest place for him to be able to do that might be the stadium section. Try and coast around the forest loop, and then maybe put it into lean during the stadium to save a bit through there.
So if Nathan has the fastest lap 2, Nathan would get 4 points for pole and fastest lap, but what if he was to do a splash and dash and come out in 4th? He would get 21. Include pole and fastest lap 25. Adam would surely let Benji through, and that would be 30. So if Nathan can keep his fastest lap and definitely have it, he is capable of doing a splash and dash for another 5 litres or so, because he has, well, a lap and 10-15 more seconds to 5th place.
And to be fair,
that might be Nathan's option.
If he did come in for a quick splash and dash, I think he'd come out ahead of Benji.
Maybe.
And
I'm not sure.
Adam wouldn't let Ben through.
Of course, Ben is ahead of Benji. I forgot about that. So Nathan might just do a splash and dash for 5 litres or so. That might be his only option, because it doesn't look like he's saving enough.
I mean, at this point, he's got 3 laps in reality. And that's on top of this half lap he's still got to do. So Adam Morris might end up winning the final TNGTC race.
Yeah, Adam has a way of sneaking endurance race wins. He managed to sneak one away from me in Sakita one year, because my game glitched and brought up many menus that I had to then all close down. So he's good at sneaking these wins, but is Nathan just going to pull into the pits and stick a few litres in? Because I don't think he's saving enough fuel.
I think he's going to have about 2.5 laps, really, of fuel left across his line. Because 2 laps is going to be about 2 minutes 10, 4 minutes 10, 4 minutes 12.
Yeah, he's going to get 3 more laps, and he's got 7.1 litres. So he has to use 2.3 a lap. So he has to save 1.5 litres a lap. The last thing he can physically do is not finish this race.
He's still putting in really quick times, only 2:05.8 on the last one, pulled 3:10s on Adam.
Maybe he is just trying to set the fast laps and then do a splash and dash. Maybe he's given up on trying to save fuel.
Three minutes and 55 seconds left. It's been a grueling 2-hour race. Into Brems Curve 3 for the 55th time in this race. We've got at least another 2 laps, so I think we're going to go up to 57 lap total.
Nathan 3 seconds down in his best lap, he's definitely trying to save fuel. Well, it's kind of a futile attempt. Please, for the love of God, Nathan, do not run out of fuel. You need to pit.
It's going to carry on round.
You cannot do 2 laps on 4 litres.
And there's no way you're doing a 2-minute 47 lap either.
I mean, he's going to have to do 2 laps regardless because he needs to wait for Adam to cross, but he needs to pit. I mean, yes, he theoretically can do like 3-minute 13 lap time and still stay in 4th. But so he's just going to be quicker pitting on this lap. I'm sure he'll have realised he crossed the line with 4 litres. He's going to look. No, he's used more than 2 this lap despite mega fuel saving. He's already used 1.1 and he's just finished the first sector. He needs to pit. If he doesn't stop at the end of this lap, I'm genuinely worried he will not make it to the end.
Yeah, with this, there is no limp mode. Once you're out of fuel, you are out of fuel.
And if it does drop out, that means Ben will take his 2nd title. Despite the last dull hour, we're in for a hell of a finish. Nathan pits his heads. If he doesn't, then, well, he's just stupid.
Down to 1.7 with a minute 16 left on the clock. They're not going to do this last sector in a minute 16.
No, he's going to have to cross the line and then do another lap. He's trying to do the Egypt Turbine 5th gear. That's not going to save you enough fuel. You're not doing a lap on probably about 0.9 of a litre by the time you cross the finish line. He has to pit. He'll come out in 4th. That'll be enough for him to win the title.
In he comes.
He's realised he's in.
All he had to do was put in an extra 3 litres of fuel in his pit stop.
Well, how will this work out with Ben? Ben will get 27 points, Nathan will get 21. Nathan, 4th is enough for him. Because if he keeps his fastest lap and his pole, 4th will be worth 25 points for him, and even if Ben got Adam, that's 30 for Ben. Nathan would win it by 2 points if Ben won this race, but I don't think he will. Hey, Nathan, he's not that far down the road from Benji. An extra 5 litres at his pit stop and he would have won this race. Comfortably.
It's a bit of a shame because that would have been one hell of a way to wrap up your first title. To win the endurance race to do it. But it wasn't to be.
I'm sure he'll take the 4th place if it means the title. Which, as far as we've calculated it, is correct. He will be champion if it stays like this.
And whilst we're talking, the time has run out. This is the final lap. And the leader is Adam Morris, and he's coming into the A-Jip curve for the final time.
In true Adam style, he has absolutely snaked this victory from Nathan.
This is the final few corners of TNGTC. The end of the Thursday Night GT Championship, and Adam Morris will take its final victory here at Hockenheim Classic with the 2-hour endurance win, followed by Ben Milden takes a nice second. Benji, he will end the championship in 3rd place, will come home for 3rd place in the race. There's Rob coming across the line in 5th, but here is the champion, the Season 8 TNGTC champion. Nathan comes through to get 4th place and his first ever championship. He's stuck with the Porsche and it's paid off for him massively. And there he is, he's a very happy man. There is Gaz coming through for 6th, and Paul will come home in 7th. Some celebratory donuts, come on Nathan. Well, that's just boring.
No donuts, nothing. He wants to win the end lap.
Oh, he just absolutely belted Ben Milden. But the confirmation of the results. Adam Morris takes the final ever Thursday Night GT Championship win, followed by Ben Milden. Benji, Nathan will take the Season 8 title in his Porsche. Rob is 5th, Gaz is 6th, and Paul Scott will finish 7th. So, a wonderful season really, Liam, comes to an end.
Yeah, bit of a premature end after it was shortened, but that was a very tense race to go out with.
So who is your driver of that race then?
If they'd gone on to win it, Nathan, but just for the fact of they managed to take the win, I'm going to say Adam.
Definitely, I think Adam on that one. Obviously, driver of the season is the champion. That's kind of a given. I mean, to stay in that Porsche when a lot of people started doubting it and win the title, it kind of puts a statement out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, and of course, Snake Unite Racing win the team's title.
Yeah, good result from them. Unfortunately, they couldn't do the double of drivers and teams, but at least they got one of the two. But
yeah, that's always a nice little bonus for them, as much as Benji would have wanted the drivers.
Liam, I think I'll let you see us out then tonight.
So just thank you to everyone who has raced with us, worked with us, commentated with us, or even just watched us over 8 seasons of somehow you lot putting up with this league. All of the races, the crashes, the epic races, we thank you for it all, and we really, really hope you will join us for the Ultimate Racing Series, which is what we are rebranding into. So we will have updates on our Twitter, Instagram and Facebook pages. Hopefully you follow them, and we will duly update you on our Formula Renault series, our Touring Car series, and our Multi-Class Endurance series. So from me and from Jordan, it's a goodbye and a goodbye to TNGTC.